We are live.
Hello, hello.
Look at this. Look at how exciting. Woohoo! News time. See, our community is excited about the news. ID. So, guys, we're going to be covering the latest news on religion, secularism, maybe some cultural stuff. I'm not sure. It's Suze who picked up the news. And sometimes we're going to cover things that might not be religion related, but most of them will be religion related, right? AJ is confirming that audio is good. That's great. So now we could be ready to go. Okay. Do you have any announcements or anything, or should we just get right to the news?
No, make sure to like this stream, subscribe,
yes,
hang in there because we're covering a lot of stuff today.
Guys, do like the video like the stream, because it does really help us. It doesn't cost you anything other than half a second, and it helps our channel. So please just right now, just like the video. Okay, thank you. Do it. Okay, can we clap? Can we clap for the first news?
Yeah.
All right. First news.
First news. Vatican Unnerved fears more priests will be outed with Grindr data. This month, the Vatican has become increasingly apprehensive over easily accessible location-based signals from Grindr. For those who don't know, Grindr is a dating app that is almost exclusively used by men who like other men. The conservative Catholic newsletter publication, The Pillar, has once again released an analysis of mobile data signals. This time, in their third publication covering this evolving story, The Pillar claims that their new data contains evidence of individuals transmitting mobile signals within the Vatican itself. This data includes logs of mobile signals from 2018 up to 2020. The Pillar reported that more than 30 mobile devices have been documented transmitting location-based signals for dating apps from inside the Vatican. These mobile devices regularly transmitted signals, quote, from secured areas inaccessible to tourists and pilgrims. So it's not like, it's just someone random who's in like a museum part of it or something. It's like, no, like the public can't get here. Joseph Tobin, a cardinal from Newark, cries foul and calls the data collection and analysis by the Pillar, quote, very questionable. The Pillar has repeatedly announced that their method of data collection can be reproduced by anyone, claiming that the mobile data collected from Grindr is publicly accessible through commercial options. So.
Wait, so this is like within, like, you can see that within Vatican people are using this. This is like, how are they collecting this? Is it because Vatican has its own country? That's why they could see that it's being used in that zone.
So
like, is that how they figure? Yeah.
Well, the whole method of the Pillar's way that they attained this data and their sources is still very opaque. It's very muddy, but theoretically, the data that's emitted from your phone is collected by the app, and then that app company can sell it to another person. So somehow the Pillar claims they've attained data like this that is commercially available from a variety of apps, although Grindr is the only app that they have named. And especially apparently the information on Grindr is extremely specific, so they can tell, like, on the property where the signals are coming from. So there were more than 30 mobile devices were documented inside the Vatican itself. 16 of those were specifically using Grindr.
I'm actually more concerned about
apps were for heterosexuals, and but they are hookup apps nonetheless.
I am more concerned right now for other people who are using like, what if they get in trouble if people find out that they are on Grindr? Like, why is this? Oh my god! Like, shouldn't this be more private? Like, like Grindr, like, isn't this like a major bad ad for Grindr? Like maybe
Yes,
other
Grindr
people.
has made a statement saying that they're trying to ascertain how they've procured this data.
Well, I mean, you sold it. You made it commercially available. Like that's what you did. Like they bought it. Like I don't understand. Like do
Well,
they not know? Do they not know what data they're selling to third parties?
Based on other reporting I've read about this subject, like it doesn't seem like this is the kind of thing that can be procured just by individuals. Like it has to be procured by like specific entities. And so it was probably like well, conspiracy makes it sound like malicious, but there was a larger operation going on to attain this data and then use very specific means of analyzing it to like hone in on it to this level. Like a few weeks ago, we talked about how there was a Monsignor who was outed and then since kicked out of the, well, I don't know if I think he resigned from the U.S. Conference of Bishops. And because he was exposed using Grindr by the Pillar. The Pillar exposed him as an individual for using this but they haven't named anyone else as an individual. He's the only one so far.
Yeah. By the way, let's just be clear: when we are saying expose or anything like that, it's based on their standard. Because based on our standard, there's nothing wrong with any of this. You know what I mean?
I mean, I think it's kind of wrong to be is very senior in an organization that is so bigoted towards the LGBT community, has historically like inhibited progress every step of the way. And
well, that part of it is wrong.
Yeah.
But that part of it is wrong. The part like I don't think you're all of a sudden. I don't think like here's what I don't want to do. Okay, if you are a gay priest and you are trying to oppress LGBT people, right? I don't think the fact that you're gay makes your discrimination against LGBT people worse. You are as bad as the straight priest who's doing that. Like it's objectively like they are both wrong regardless of whether you're gay or straight. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to be like, oh yeah, the straight priests who are like discriminating gay people, they're bad. But you who are a gay priest, you're especially like I think like that's form of discrimination as well. To be like the gay priest who's doing this is worse than the straight priests who are doing this. I mean, we might say like, well, that is hypocritical because they're doing it themselves, but they're like discriminating other people who are doing it. However, their ideology says like considers everyone's a sinner anyways. You know what I mean? Like they don't think like they like, oh my God, look, this priest is doing sins, but he himself is like taking part in an institution that is discriminating gay people. But they're like, yeah, I sin. Everyone sins. Like some people like steal a candy, some people commit genocide, and some people do what I'm doing, right? Like they do,
break their vow of celibacy.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, it's all just a sin. Like we're all gonna be forgiven through Jesus Christ and blah blah blah.
Well,
but yeah, go on.
It's interesting. The Pillar is kind of undergoing these series of publications because they say that they feel compelled to expose this quote unquote like sexual immorality because they think that if this is being engaged in at such high levels, then it begs the question to them that what other forms of sexual immorality are they going to maybe turn a blind eye to? And even in some of their publications, they tried to basically conflate issues and say that because there is, reports of minors sometimes using Grindr, that they're basically trying to blame gay men for the Catholic Church's problem of abuse of minors, which is like they're trying to like push all of that quote unquote perversion onto them, which is completely unfair and also like empirically untrue. Like I can promise you that probably on any given dating app, like there are some minors there, but that doesn't mean that everyone who uses that app is a predator, right? Like it's just a matter of numbers. Also, don't do that if you're a minor. Yeah, so it's really interesting. I've been reading some of the pillars reporting, and other people reporting on this, including ourselves, focus more on this Grindr gay priest angle of the story. But the pillar, when they released this publication, what they focused on was actually China taking this data to blackmail the Vatican.
What?
This was an angle of the story I had never heard of before until I went back to the primary sources. I was like, what? So wait, let me find it.
What is going on?
The use of any hookup app within the Vatican City's state-secured area could pose a security risk for the Holy See. And the use of Grindr app among Vatican residents and officials and within the non-public areas of the Vatican City state could present a particular diplomatic security risk for the Holy See in its dealings with China. The company was launched in California but acquired by the Chinese gaming firm Beijing Kunlun Tech in 2016 for $93 million. While it was under Chinese ownership, the U.S. Committee on Foreign Investment in the United States deemed the app's ownership a national security risk over concerns that the data from the app's some 27 million users could be accessed by the Chinese government and used for blackmail. The app was sold in 2020 to a company based in the U.S. for a reported $608 million at the demand of the U.S. government. While it was still under Chinese ownership, Grindr allowed third-party engineers access to the personal data of millions of US-based users, including their personal details and HIV status, according to media reports last year. Because the Chinese law requires tech companies to provide access to national intelligence gathering agencies, app data could be available to the Chinese government. Under intelligence and cybersecurity laws, Kunlun Tech could have been compelled to turn over the data from the company's servers to the Chinese government for any reason pertaining to quote-unquote national security, experts have warned. That data could include user details, private messages exchanged between users, and evidence of sexual liaisons arranged between users. Grindr has said that the company has, quote, never disclosed any user data regardless of citizenship to the Chinese government, nor do we intend to. But one former Grindr employee told the Los Angeles Magazine in 2019 that, quote, there's no world in which the People's Republic of China is like, oh yes, a Chinese billionaire is going to make all this money in the American market with all this valuable data and not give it to us, end quote. I was like, I didn't know anything about this. Amazing. So that's what's kind of interesting is a lot of people are more focused on the gay aspect to it, but the pillar itself, at least in this report, was more focused on the security report. And it's also been interesting to see the fallout from the Vatican itself following this reporting. Like now they're actually in communication with the people at this publication, The Pillar, trying to determine like what the heck is going on. Like they're freaked out.
Zakura is saying this is why priests and nuns need to get married. Okay, but be careful with that language because it kind of suggests that there's something wrong with using Grindr and getting married is a solution. Like no, if you're gay, just do your thing. Like you don't need to fix that. I know this is kind of a joke, but I just want to highlight that this is not that is not the problem that needs to be solved. Like if you want to use probably maybe not Grindr, maybe a safer app, but if you need to use an app to find a partner, go ahead with doing that. Like the problem with these priests is not that they're using Grindr. The problem is that they are doing that while discriminating against other gay people. That's the issue here. Okay, so let's focus on Bobo is saying funny how the church cares more about consensual gay hookups than actual sexual assault against minors. Christian morality, to be fair, they think that it's all wrong, but the problem with the Christianity is that it considers all sins to be somewhat equal and forgivable through Jesus and blah blah blah. That's the issue here, right? I think the Vatican should make its own Grindr, right? For for internal consumption, and just make sure that like you have like outstand. Here's what I think they should do. They should make an app where they could do all their sinning and all the things that they think that is not right, but they have like an outstanding sin count, right? That you haven't been forgiven for. Like, okay, fine. If you want to sin, but do it internally within Vatican's own app. Also, we have a place where you could see like how many sins you haven't confessed to, and then maybe you could just ask for do confessions on the app itself, and then just like reset it to 0 every time it gets to a certain above a certain number. Okay.
Trells is saying that Grindr for priests should be Prinder.
Prinder, yeah. I mean, I think that's a great idea, because that way they don't have to. No police or no government has access to it as well. It's all internal. Mobile confession. Yeah, exactly. Is that still a thing?
At that point, they're just like freely admitting the fact that they're giving up their vows of celibacy, which is like such a fundamental tenet to the clergy. Like, I don't even know where to begin.
Yeah, but then Jesus, you go and confess it, and it's all fine. I mean, it's not like. I mean, they do it with. They don't seem to have an issue when priests do worse things, and which I'm not going to mention here because we already mentioned it once, and I don't want to get to strike by YouTube, right? Like, do they actually have more of an issue when priests do this with adults than non-adults? Like, they seem to go out of their way. I think maybe they do.
I think maybe they do.
Like, maybe if the person that they are with is on an adult, they're like, okay, we can't forgive that. But if it's a crime, okay, we're going to make sure you stay a priest, and we spend money on protecting you legally, and that none of this gets leaked, and we'll move you around. We'll go out of our way to protect you. But if it's legal, now we have an issue with this. Now you're going to lose your position. I don't know.
That's actually a pretty good point. Like, there's been several bishops who have said, for example, that like abortion is worse than that thing we can't talk about too much.
Yeah.
Like, openly. So honestly, I think you're onto something.
Wait, Bulbul is saying something. Maybe you could read this while I get the next news.
I think Bulbul was having a contention about maybe the way you phrased something. No. Because she's just doubling down on emphasizing the links that the Catholic Church will go to cover up bad things that happen to children.
Oh, okay, yeah. And now she's saying that is exactly what I was saying. All right, okay. I get it. Okay.
Yeah. Well, moral of the story is that this situation, it is not going away anytime soon. Like, the Pillar seems like they're going to continue to release information and these data that they found. It'll be interesting to see if they name any more individuals. Also in this report, they named the fact that they can find mobile data from different rectories in Newark, New Jersey. And there were other news agencies that were speculating that this, besides the Vatican, only this diocese was named. And they think it's because of, I forget his position. I think it's Bishop Tobin is particularly close to the Pope. And right now there are like a ton of really traditional Catholics who are super unhappy with this Pope right now. And the Pillar is a very conservative publication. So it's like they're trying to get at
Catholics are unhappy with. You just said Catholics are unhappy with the Pope.
Oh yeah. It's a huge thing right now.
How does that? I know it's a huge thing, but it doesn't make any sense. So are they? Here's how I know. Here's what I say. Okay, are they protesting the Pope?
Oh,
are they protesting against the Pope? Does that make them Protestant? I mean, do they like? Are you even Catholic though? Like, I don't understand. Like, you don't get to be upset with the Pope.
Yeah.
You don't get to do that. You're not Catholic if you do that. Oh wait. Wait, we have some other comments, guys. What was it? Oh, here, Idris is saying something.
Idris is saying, but Armin, isn't it because they know what is truly harmful? However, they crack down on consensual gay sex because it's less damaging to their image? I don't really understand this.
It's yeah, I don't understand it either. Maybe it highlights. I don't know. Maybe.
People are saying accidentally becoming Protestant is tight.
All right. Can we clap for the next news?
Yes.
Oh, we can.
Mm-hmm.
It's an Islamic country and we can clap. Okay, that's weird. Next news.
Next news. Moroccan woman freed after a 3.5-year jail sentence for insulting Islam. So on June 28th, Ikram Nazi, a Moroccan Italian woman, was sentenced to 3.5 years in prison and a hefty fine for allegedly assaulting Islam on Facebook posts she made long before her trip to Morocco. In April 2019, she posted Arabic phrases about whiskey that looked like verses from the Quran. She did this, quote, without knowing the content, explained her father, who also emphasized her lack of fluency in Arabic. Her arrest gained attention online, with her defenders criticizing the Moroccan government for attacking individuals who want to express their intellectual criticisms. Vincenzo Amendola, Italy's Minister of European Affairs, headed the team that handled the diplomatic mission for Nazin's release. Amendola visited her every week while in detention, and under his supervision, Italian officials were in constant communication with their Moroccan counterparts, negotiating for their release. Nazin was released after being detained for more than 2 months while waiting for her trial scheduled for August 30th.
This is Morocco, guys. This is like supposed to be like, this is not Pakistan. This is not Iran. This is not Saudi Arabia. This is not Bangladesh. Okay, this is not Egypt. It's Morocco. It's supposed to be better. Okay, it's supposed to be. I mean, it is better, but this is the best you could hope for. Like, you still have to deal with crap like this. This is the same made up surah, Quranic surah that Abdullah Samir published, right? With the
I think so.
Quranic surah. Yeah, this is the, which I don't understand. This is the Quran itself has challenged people to see if they could make surahs like the Quran. So what are you like? Why are people complaining? Allah has asked the world to accept this challenge. It was a challenge that was put out there by Allah, and people are like, okay, well, here's the surah, here's the challenge, accept it. I feel like, you can't do that. Like, why can't I do that? Allah has challenged us to make a surah like the Quran. So we're just responding. What the hell's wrong with you?
I'm just doing what he said.
Yeah, like I said, like, if you think this is not from Allah, try to make a surah like it or make an ayah like it. Well, like, okay, we made one like about whiskey, and it's actually better. That surah is actually much better than the entire Quran. So
True.
But you see, like, the defense from the dad shows how bad the situation is. Like, she didn't know what she was sharing. Her Arabic is not good. That's why she shared it. Like, this is the defense to try to get her out. Not like she should. I'm not criticizing the dad. Maybe that's what's gonna work. Okay, but the fact that this is what the go-to is means like defense is like, dude, it's just a post. It's just a post. How is this a crime? Right, that's not
that was basically defense. Italy's response to this, and the response of Italian government officials who spoke on her case. There's like, under no circumstances are we going to let a young woman like sit in jail over a Facebook post. That's absurd. It's pretty interesting. So like, she, I think, was maybe born in Morocco, but she spent almost her entire life in Italy. And then she was, I think, pursuing a law degree, or she was pursuing a degree in France. And then she came back to Morocco to visit her family. I think around April 2020. No, 2021. I can't remember off the top of my head. But this was a post she made in April 2019. And I saw one news report that said that it was like a local religious group who found this post and alerted authorities, and she was arrested like upon her arrival in Morocco. So someone must have had it out for her. It's insane. But I do want to clarify some things, because before the stream started, oh shoot. Of course, StreamYard won't let me see the comment. Okay, well, before the stream started, someone left a comment saying that like they left a correction saying like, oh, she wasn't freed, like it was, the case was released because of something with appeals or whatever. I am not familiar with that. I haven't seen that reported in any English speaking media. So maybe this person is correct, maybe they're not. One thing that's not clear to me through all the reports that I've read of this story, including like the Associated Press, is the fact that she has some sort of trial or court date on this coming Monday. I'm not exactly, it's not clear to me based on the reporting I've seen in English, like what this court date is for, and the terms of her release. But I'm just deferring to the language that I've seen in all the other media reporting on this, including a source credible as the Associated Press saying freed, released, etc. But I'm just, saying that for full transparency in case things do evolve with this court date that's coming up, and maybe there were some details that were lost in translation. But based on the way that everyone else is talking about this, I will celebrate her release. I will congratulate and thank the Italian authorities for going to bat so hard for their citizen. And yeah.
I'll actually answer my question because I wanted to clarify. So she's an Italian citizen, right? Mm-hmm. What are the chances that she would still be in jail right now if she was only a Moroccan citizen and not an Italian citizen?
Pretty high, I think.
Pretty high, right? Like, so she's getting...
I mean, that's a total speculation, but
yeah, but I think it's like a reasonable speculation, right? Also, she made this post when she was outside of Morocco, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she's been to jail, and she's having a court date possibly because of an Italian citizen who was outside of Morocco is in jail in Morocco because of something she did on Facebook outside of Morocco. Okay. So I'm just trying to imagine what the situation would be if she was only a Moroccan citizen and not an Italian citizen, and she made this post while she was in Morocco. Like, they would be like, okay, you're screwed. You are like, and again, guys, this is Morocco. Okay. This is not Saudi Arabia or Iran or Bangladesh or Pakistan. Right. So even this would have been a lot worse if she didn't have dual citizenship, or if she did this in Morocco. And I can't imagine, like, this is the best we could have. This is like some of the most free, secular Islamic countries that are out there, and this is the best we're getting. So just keep that in mind when people... again, I'm not denying that the Morocco, like, I don't want people to say like they're all the same, all the Islamic countries that are the same. No. Morocco is a lot better, but again, this is the best we get.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, she's not sentenced to death. Like, those are our standards.
Yay. Like, yeah, that is amazing.
But this is still really good news, because when we reported on her being sentenced to over 3 years in prison for blasphemy, like, her father was speaking to the media just being like, she's completely broken. Like, they ruined her future, like, just how devastated she was by this. Apparently not even understanding Arabic all that well. And so the fact that she is released in this capacity is fantastic news, and hopefully she will get out of Morocco as fast as possible.
I'm glad that Italy is like, because like we had some disappointing situations with like Australia, for example, when it came to
Australia really failed Zarake.
Yeah, so I'm glad Italy is like, you don't do this with our citizen. Like, no.
Yeah.
And I think Italy was actually very good with, I think it's been a decade or something, with Oriana Fallaci. She had she was in I think, if I remember this right, the EU wanted to charge Oriana Fallaci for Islamophobia because of her book, and there was a thing for her arrest, and the EU was like, you need to send her to us, and Italy was like, excuse me, no. So but she had like court dates and everything, but she died before any of that happened. So, but I think Italy was like, it's good when it comes to, it seems like it, I'm not sure, but when it comes to like respecting free speech, Italy seems to be better than some other European countries. Anyways, all right, see if there's anything we need to highlight in the live chat while I get the next news. You can take a look.
AG is saying, we don't behead people, which is a reference
Yay!
to
To
Hindu
Hinduism.
extremists who
Yay.
excuse their reprehensible behavior that is worse than any Islamists like we've ever experienced by saying, we don't behead people.
We should make like a plastic medal saying "I never beheaded anybody" and just like hand them out as like, yeah.
Should that be our new merch?
That would probably get us removed from a store, but
True.
I wish.
Actually, you're right.
But yeah. Okay, so can we clap for the next news?
Yes, this is hilarious.
Next news.
Next news. Christian fundamentalist Ken Ham claims Jesus can't save aliens. So, I always love to do a little reporting when there's a notable creationist or Christian fundamentalist who, just has some fun takes that I just feel like we should talk about. So, in a recent tweet in August, noted Christian fundamentalist and young earth creationist Ken Ham insisted that aliens do not exist. Ham was responding to a Washington Post article that claims highly religious people are less likely to subscribe to the belief of the existence of extraterrestrial intelligent life. According to the Pew Research Center study, adult Americans who consistently maintain church attendance at least once per week are less likely to believe that intelligent life exists elsewhere. In contrast, those who rarely or never attend service are more likely to believe that intelligent life other than that on Earth exists. The Ark Encounter is a theme park with the biblical tales of Noah's Ark. It's also one of the few places where visitors can view inaccurate depictions of humans interacting with dinosaurs. And this is, Ken Ham's kind of like claim to fame, is his creation of this Ark Encounter. In his statement via Twitter, Ham insisted that, quote, Jesus came to save us, not another race of beings.
Okay, Marcia in the live chat saying no alien is going to visit our planet because of Ken Ham. This is very interesting. First of all, I know this seems very dumb by Ken Ham, but it is actually pretty smart because this is how you become relevant. You stay, he knows what to say to get coverage, right?
True.
Well, actually, this isn't. Yeah. So
wait, if
it
you
works.
click on that tweet, we can see his whole thread, and I feel like we should unpack it. So He says, in a biblical worldview, we don't expect alien life to exist. The Bible tells us Earth was formed to be inhabited, quoting Isaiah chapter 45, verse 18, and the other celestial bodies were created for signs, seasons, days, and years, Genesis 1:14. It was to Earth that, please scroll down, that Jesus came to save us, not to another planet to save another race of beings. So he's saying he came to us, not to anyone else. He came to us. An understanding of the gospel makes it clear that salvation through Christ is only for the Adamic race, or how would you say that? Atomic race.
Adamic
Human
race.
beings who
I've
are
never heard that
descended from
before.
Adam.
Wow.
I think that
Wait, do
maybe
we
he
have
just made up
human?
that term.
Wait, do we have human beings that are not descendants of Adam?
Do we have any descendants from Lilith with someone else?
No, I mean, didn't what isn't there part of the Bible? I forget this. I read the Bible like many years ago, but wasn't there a part where Cain and Abel went to a village to find mates and something, and people were like, "Wait,
Yeah,
a
they
village?
found wives somewhere. It doesn't make any sense in the Bible.
Like, wait, you weren't you supposed to be the only humans? How did you? What is this? What are these towns that you're
Yeah, it
going to?
doesn't make
Okay,
any sense.
so based on that, I guess like some people are saying that okay, so there are other humans that are not descendant from Adam, right? Which is actually not very un-Islamic,
Mm.
because another word in Islam for human is Bani Adam, which means the sons of Adam, which is very
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So I guess they ignored the woman. Um, but this is actually very interesting. The Adamic race, like, are we like? So are the human beings who are not descendant of Adam? Or do they have souls? And who? Where
Oh,
are they?
snap.
Where are they? Maybe they are the Neanderthals or something. I don't know.
Maybe
Where
they're
are
not
they?
with
Like,
us anymore.
yeah, that's very interesting. What happened to them?
Well,
Oh,
he
by the way,
concludes by saying, quote, "The
oh,
heavens are the Lord's heavens, but the earth he has given to the children of men." Psalm chapter 115, verse 16. Just,
music guy saying Earth Jesus versus alien Jesus.
but how does he know? How does he know that
You're asking a
Jesus
religious
only
person. How does he know?
came, he only came to us?
Well, you're asking a religious person for evidence. Are you serious? Okay. Do you want to know the Islamic perspective on this based on what it was told to
The
us
Islamic
in
perspective
school?
on aliens?
Yeah, and whether or not they have like
Hell
they could
yeah.
go to heaven or not. Well, I mean, this is not the Islamic perspective. This is an Islamic perspective,
Mm-hmm.
which was what I was exposed to as a kid in school in Iran. We were told that if there are aliens, they must have gotten their prophets. Like God wouldn't let them not have prophets. Like they must have gotten their own version of a prophet to make sure that they have a chance to become Muslim.
Whoa.
Yeah,
So
that's what
there's
we were
like
told.
an alien Muhammad somewhere?
Not Muhammad. They had different prophets. I think. It
Well,
can't be.
by Muhammad, I meant like the seal of the prophets.
No, there's only no. No, how dare you? There's only one seal of the prophets. There's only
But
one
if they
seal of the
had prophets too, then they would also have to have a seal of their prophets, right?
No, there's only one seal of prophets. That's
Oh,
Muhammad.
shoot.
They would be excused if they didn't get the latest version of Islam.
They didn't get the latest update?
They didn't get the latest update. They would be excused for believing in a lesser version of Islam because they didn't have the seal of the prophet. They would just get like some, they would be somewhat just like, for example, people who got Jesus and Moses before they got Muhammad. They are considered Muslim, and they're going to be excused for not having a complete Islam just because they didn't get Muhammad. Okay, aliens will also be excused for not having Muhammad, but they should be Muslim. Some, like the aliens who are not Muslim will go to hell because they had the opportunity. They must have had the opportunity to learn about Islam through the prophets that God sent to them.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Bubble is saying maybe that's why Muhammad flew to the moon, y'all.
Hey,
dude, you're right.
Well, I mean, there are no aliens.
But this is actually pretty interesting. Apparently,
wait, Bubble, you're mixing your mythology. He didn't fly to the moon. He cut the moon. He flew to the heavens. You're mixing two different stories together.
Okay, right. Okay, you're right.
Yeah.
Maybe while he was in the heavens, he made some pit stops, and that's how they got their final message. Oh my god. But this was interesting, though. Through our writer was writing about this, and apparently the former director of the Vatican Observatory, Father Jose Funes, says that believing in aliens is not in contrast with the Catholic faith, saying that, quote, we cannot place limits on the creative freedom of God. So, maybe if you're Catholic, it's okay to believe in aliens.
I mean, it's a religion. You could, whatever, every new information you learn about the world, religion is magic. You could explain everything away. You're only limited by your imagination.
True.
So, yeah. Okay. Is there? Oh wait, Troella saying something. You wanna?
If Muhammad made pit stops on the trip to heaven, presumably he would have had to bring stones to wipe his ass.
Wait, well, he did do that. Like, he specifically, you guys know this? Muhammad actually used stones to wipe his ass, and people looked, and people tried to count the number of stones he was like using just to figure out what sunnah. Anyways, that's another story.
That's so gross.
You think?
I mean, if you do that with, if you use stones, like, okay, you got to do what you got to do, like, whatever. Yeah. But going to go look for that?
No, like, there's hadiths, people trying to remember what kind of stones, like the kind of stones, how many. There was something about not using bones, I think, if I remember correctly, because that's the food of the, because that's the food for the jinns, and you shouldn't use bones because.
Doesn't he use 3?
Yeah, well, I don't remember this correctly.
3 seashells,
guys,
or is that Muhammad, from Guardian?
I don't remember this correctly. Wait, let me finish this thought. You're not letting me finish my thought. Okay, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the hadith was he didn't use bones to wipe his ass. Again, I don't remember correctly because that's the food for the jinns. Jinns are like Islamic demons, and he's like, we have to leave that out so they have something to eat. Okay, this is how kind the Prophet of Islam is, right? He's thinking like, that's demon food. The demons will starve if we use bones to wipe our ass. The poor demons need something to eat. This is how considerate the Prophet of Islam was. Okay. By the way, demons are not bad in Islam. Okay, there are good demons and there are bad demons, and some of the first Muslims were demons. When Muhammad was reading the Quran and many humans were not accepting him as a prophet, there were demons or jinns who heard it and were like, what the hell is this? And they were loving it, and they were coming around Muhammad and listening to what he was saying, and they converted to Islam. So don't think like when you say jinn, that's like an evil entity in Islam. Some of them are good, some of them are bad. In fact, some of them participated in battle against the enemies of Muhammad in the Battle of Badr. Yeah. Anyways, we're getting.
So I would just like to say, when I said 3 seashells, I was confusing this with the movie Demolition Man, which is a really bad Sylvester Stallone movie.
What?
In that movie, they used 3 seashells to wipe their butt. Thank you, AGA got it. I can't believe I confused that. That's so funny.
Oh, Razam saying, are there atheist jinn? Yes, we were told that there are atheist jinn, which makes no sense at all. Like, your entire body is like magic. How do you not believe in like God and stuff? Like, like you don't. It's just weird. Like, how could there be atheist jinns? But we were told there are atheist jinns. Like, there are jinns who don't believe in anything supernatural, which is so bizarre because their entire entity is supernatural. I don't understand.
Well, because jinns get free will, but angels don't, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but like, isn't your own existence proof of? Anyways, I don't know how that works. Okay. Let's do. Can we clap for the next news?
Yes.
Okay. Next news.
Next news. Brazilian bishop resigns over leaked graphic video. On August 18th, Bishop Tome Ferreira del Silva, 60, of the Catholic Diocese of São José do Rio Preto, resigned. The resignation happened days after a video leaked where he is seen playing with his genitals. He acknowledged that the man in the video is him. He also believes that the video was leaked by someone he, quote, is living with him. This is not the first case the Brazilian bishop was involved in a sex-related scandal. In 2018, Da Silva was alleged to have ignored increasing reports of sexual abuse in his diocese. A local Brazilian news outlet also claimed that the bishop was alleged to have, quote, exchanged sexual messages with an adolescent the same year. In 2015, Da Silva was investigated for financial fraud for directing funds to his driver, who was rumored to be his lover. So this was like really interesting because there are also reports that he's seen like in this video with another man. Although, like, based on the reporting I've read from this, it's not really clear like what his interaction with this other man in the video is. But it's actually unusual. It seemed very unusual for this to come out and for him to resign and his resignation be accepted like so quickly. Usually it seems like there's often like some contention, or sometimes the Pope doesn't even accept their resignation. But this was like instant, like you're out of here.
Okay. Did you just say this guy was with an adolescent before?
He is alleged to have been texting or sexual messages in
when? How
2018.
Old? How old was this person?
I have no idea.
Okay, but underage, for sure. Right?
Based on the reports I've read.
Okay, this goes back to one of those examples where he didn't have to resign for something that is actually a crime, and now he's resigning for something that is completely okay. You see, like again, is global in the live chat, because this is like, look at the standards. Like, he was exchanging inappropriate messages with a minor, and he kept his position for 2 years. And then we have private videos of this man touching himself, which is A-okay. And now immediate resignation accepted. Like, what is, like, how, oh God, like, why does it seem like it keeps confirming that the priorities of the Catholic Church just doesn't seem like they just make it so easy. Just make it so easy. Like, okay, so what do you think? Why was this like such an easy choice for the Catholic Church? Like, yep, thank you for resignation. No, we don't have any issue. Goodbye. But nothing in response to that. Like, why did this not happen before 2 years ago with that actual? I mean, how is he not even like? Shouldn't he be like in legal trouble over that?
I mean, he seemed to have, there's been lots of contention about his behavior for several years now. I mean, including being actually investigated for fraud, for directing funds to his rumored lover, you know? Like,
okay. So actual fraud, actual messages to a minor.
Well, he was investigated for fraud. I don't know if it actually found him guilty of it.
Okay, fair enough. But again, the thing that made it like not acceptable anymore for the Catholic Church, like, okay, yep, you resign, thank you very much, was the least harmful thing he seemed to have done. From all the things he have done, the one that was the least problematic was the one that made the Catholic Church, you're like, okay, bye-bye, don't let the door hit you on the way out. like what is wrong with these people?
Oh, wait, I found more details. So, they like this video was leaked on Friday, and they like appointed his replacement. No, his resignation was finalized by like the following Wednesday. Um, the person who had access to the images said that they show a semi-naked religious man in a video call with another man.
A
Lasting 1 minute and
semi-naked
20
religious
seconds
man?
long, the video begins with a reproduction of a photo of Dom Tome. I don't know who that is, wearing a mitre. So he's wearing his bishop hat, like in this video, while he's doing this to himself. 6 seconds later, a caption with the word "strong scenes" appears. Soon after, there's a video recording of a call made by a cell phone with an angle from the bottom to the top, in which it is possible to see the bishop naked during the video conference. Oh, Tome is his name.
This was my question, which was immediately answered, because I saw this video. I like, we don't know what you're saying. It seemed like a semi-naked religious man, and I was like, wait, how could they tell? Like, where's a semi-naked religious man? How could they tell that it's a religious man? I was like, oh, he was
the
wearing
big
it. Like,
hat was a.
that was like, he was wearing that.
He was wearing his mitre. That's a big sign.
Oh, like, is that his kink? Like, is that like, why would he keep that on? Well,
dude, okay, to be fair, Catholics have excellent costume design. I don't care what anyone says. We have the most fabulous costume design in the world. Like, that is a kink. That actually is a kink, and I'm not mad at it.
Yeah, that's the least. This is the least. Again, the things that they get in trouble for are the things that are the least problematic of all the things they do, right? I like, if you want to wear like a big funny hat, which on beautiful costume, I mean, the costumes are great, and you have somebody jerk you off, like, go for that. Just like, don't do all those other things you're doing. I just wonder. I'm just curious if it's his kink to wear that while that's happening, or if it's lovers. Like he's like, okay, jerk me off, or like, and his lover is like, I'm not gonna do it unless you put the hat on. I'm like, come on, just do it. I'm like, nope, not without the hat. Like, and he's like, but it makes it weird. I don't like to put the hat on. Like, well, it's just not gonna happen unless you put the hat on.
It makes me feel sad for it. Just really gets me going when you wear the mitre, babe. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. What does this mean? I don't know.
The Met Gala agrees. The Met Gala did a huge exhibit on how Catholicism and Catholic art has had a huge influence on fashion. That was fantastic. It was. You know what?
I want to wear. I want to get like a Pope hat and wear it during sexy time now. Like, I'm not even joking.
The Pope doesn't have the coolest hat. He wears it sometimes, but usually it just looks like a little kippa.
No, not the kippa thing.
But
like, I want the
full mitre. Okay.
The full thing. Yeah. I'm gonna try it. I don't know where I'm gonna get the hat, but I'm gonna try.
You can make one. Like, out of just butcher paper.
No. It has to be something very elegant and elaborate and detailed. It has to be like, look so badass. Okay.
Ew. That's such a gross way of putting it.
Okay. No. Okay. All right, can we clap for the next news?
No.
No? Okay.
No.
Next news.
Pakistani province bans TikTokers from park after hundreds assault woman. On August 22nd, the Parks and Horticulture Authority, or PHA, of the Punjab province in Pakistan announced that TikTokers are banned from entering public parks. The incident sparking the ban happened during Pakistan's Independence Day on August 14th. According to the unnamed TikToker, close to 400 people attacked her and her 6 companions. She explained that they were shooting videos to share on TikTok when the crowd began gathering around them. On the first information report, or FIR, filed at the police station in Loriada, the TikToker claimed that she was passed around and thrown into the air multiple times. The attack was so severe that she was nearly stripped naked and even had jewelry stolen. The woman added that her companion's phone was also stolen. Pakistan's Prime Minister Imran Khan has not played a very active role in protecting women's rights. In an interview with Axios, Khan commented on the accusations that he engages in victim blaming, calling it, quote, nonsense. He also supported the social implementation of purdah, or the segregation or covering of women, as the proper solution to sexual immorality. Khan added that wearing, quote, very few clothes will have an effect on men. So this is one of those stories that isn't directly religious, but this is just one of the craziest stories I heard this week, and I wanted to cover it. And then to give context, that's why I was talking about the comments of Imran Khan, just to kind of like put this in a broader perspective, and then we can kind of debate how much of this is religious, just to kind of frame this segment. So this is one of the craziest things I've ever seen. The footage from this incident is so disturbing. Imagine 6 young women all separated from each other, literally being attacked by 400 men.
Wow, that sounds like a nightmare.
Terrifying. The video footage of this is so scary. Like, the clothing is literally being like ripped off of their bodies. They're being tossed around like they're just like a hot cake. Like, it's so traumatizing to watch. It's so scary. And it's not even clear like what originally started this. They were just like young kids in the park wanting to make a video for TikTok to celebrate their freaking country's Independence Day. Like, that's the occasion for this. And it was just like, it's like, I don't know. I've been in like mob situations before, at protests and stuff. And it's hard to explain the feeling in the air when there's just like something primal going on. It's just like you kind of feel everyone's like monkey brain kind of react, and people are just like, they lose themselves in watching
Be
the
careful
footage.
with the word, because you two might think we're saying something that we're not. Don't use the word like.
I say this about any specific group of people. I'm trying to talk about this
I
innate
know you're not.
capacity we all have as humans,
I
just to
know, but
clarify.
yeah, but YouTube's algorithm is dumb, so I might think we're saying something else. But yeah, go on.
Yeah. So yeah, people know that I'm not really saying that about any ethnicity or anything. I'm talking about all people
Right.
have just, it's so hard to describe in a way that I can say on YouTube. Like, it's so frightening to watch. It's just like everyone just like lost their mind. And I wanted to highlight this story because of how serious this is. And as whenever they would try to escape or go away, like, it just kept on getting bigger and bigger, and more people were after them. It was, oh my gosh. And there's been a lot of social fallout from this, because obviously this is an extremely startling incident to happen. And we can cover some of the commentary that's happened after, since we published this story, like Imran Khan commented on it and stuff. But Armin, what's your reaction to this news?
Well, I mean, all of this is on video, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how come, like, are the people who were doing this, are they arrested?
I believe a few people have been arrested so far. Several have been identified. Let me double check really quickly.
The video, because these people were doing this knowing that this is being recorded. Like, I don't think people understand the level of sexual frustration that exists in a country like Pakistan. Like, these people are desperate. These people are like, they will be risking their lives for half a second of feeling a woman's body on their hand, even if it might mean that they're going to go to jail for it for a very long time. Or like, these are like, they feel, I think they needed more than oxygen, like right now. Like, this is their minds have been broken because of the way, again, nothing innate or anything, like the way society functions, the mix of Islam and culture and so many other things has like, and this is like, I, I I'm assuming that more stuff like this is going to continue happening in Pakistan and some other countries as well. Like, the level of frustration is so, like, these people are dangerous. Like, this is not as, like, Pakistan is not a safe place for women, right? Like,
Mm-mm.
is yeah. And by the way, I don't understand this. What they like, when they say they ban TikTokers, are they talking about banning the woman from going to the park?
It's not just TikTokers, like it's also YouTubers, like social media influencers. Like, you're literally not allowed to go to the park to film stuff for social media right now unless you get prior approval by the parks department, essentially, in this whole province. That was the way that I interpreted the news that I read.
Okay, the people who did this, they knew that there was cameras everywhere, right? And
Presumably, I mean, nowadays
yeah.
there are cameras everywhere you go.
No, but
I
this
would
was an event
presume
with
that anywhere I
TikTokers. Like,
go.
you would assume that everybody's like, you can see people on their phone recording stuff, and they still did all of this.
I mean,
I
because
mean,
there's hundreds of them. Hundreds.
yeah.
Just to answer your question, there's one report that said that 66 have been arrested. And also, there was a report by GOTV less than 24 hours ago that says that the identity parade, where they bring people through to identify people, has been delayed because the victim is like, she couldn't even go to the jail because she's just in such like ill health and like shock and trauma because of this incident.
I really hope every single person that did this gets caught. Like, they're on camera. People have high definition cameras in their phones, and all of this was being recorded. I hope they get every single one of them. This is such a nightmare. Like, I can't even imagine what you're going through, like, and being in the middle of a mob and they're all attacking you. Like, I can't even imagine what that feels like. And there's nobody that can do anything.
Yeah, if you're like the footage, I mean, pretty easy to find if you just search like Minar-e-Pakistan like incident, it comes up right away. Like, it's so scary. I can't, as a woman, I can't imagine like anything like this happening. It's so scary. But since we published this news, there's been some reactions and commentary in the Pakistani public or public figures that I think would be interesting for us to unpack. So, can you go to those Instagram posts that I sent you earlier?
Oh yeah, hold on.
Then I think it'd be interesting to talk about, like, this story isn't directly religiously related, but we can like talk about the influence of that here. So, I follow the Tribune PK on Instagram. It's like a Pakistani news source, and it seems pretty conservative to me just based on the comments that they get, which the comment section of this newspaper consistently terrify me. So they posted about this quote on the incident from the prime minister, saying, quote, "I traveled across the world, and while traveling, I observed that Pakistanis respect women more than the Western world. Today, the downfall we are witnessing is because children are not being educated in the right manner." And they included the caption, "Yesterday, Prime Minister Imran Khan spoke up about the awful episode that was taken place on August 14th in Manar-e Pakistan, where a girl was mercilessly assaulted, molested, and groped by a throng of sexual predators. Imran Khan expressed his trauma while recalling the incident and said that I was ashamed and pained to see it because it was a source of humiliation and embarrassment for Pakistan. While talking about the shameful act of the crowd on Independence Day, he said it is not our culture nor part of our religion. He also blamed the negative usage and exposure of smartphones as the reason behind the ethical bankruptcy of the nation and the rampant of sexual crimes because of the exposure of phones, which humankind has been witnessing today, was never possible a decade ago.
Blame everything under the sun except the things that are actually the reasons why this is happening. Unbelievable. It's actually this thing that you mentioned that are not the problem. Those are exactly the problem. And that's why you are going to those, because you know what people are actually blaming, and rightfully so, like the culture and the religion. Those are, I mean, your culture is your religion. We're talking Pakistan. But those are the things that you need to be blaming. Unbelievable. The phones are the reason why we know that this has happened. The phones are the reason why some people are going to be held accountable. Like, this is why Pakistan is not going to improve. Because for things to improve, you have to actually first detect what the source of the problem is, right? If you keep ignoring the source of the problem, things are not going to get better.
I found another quote where he comments on this, and he says, it's very necessary to educate our children in right manner, and there's only one way to do that. Make them aware of the life of the Prophet Hazrat Muhammad, saying, while talking about the ethical and moral bankruptcy of our nation and the rampant increase of sexual crimes, he blamed this on the improper and incompatible raising of children. He reminded, when I was growing up, no one could have thought that acts like this would happen in Pakistan. I have been to the entire world. The respect for women I saw while growing up existed in Muslim countries, but not in the West. Big reason for the devastation we're seeing is that our children are not being brought up properly. So he's basically like saying that children are being influenced by the West to act this way, which is insane.
Insane. Well, then why is this happening more in your country than other places? God damn it, man.
And why is it happening increasingly more as your country gets increasingly Islamized?
Yeah.
And then here is a comment from, I believe she's an actress named Alize Shah. She said, quote, what happened in Lahore is just another example of how unsafe women are in Pakistan. We are not safe inside our homes, not out in the street. We are neither safe nor free. And then so the caption is, quote, women are not safe in Pakistan is what you heard frequently from showbiz stars, notable figures of different sections of society, whenever a woman is harassed, molested, assaulted, raped, groped, or barred from women's rights. The same thing has been said by drama actress Alize Shah, who thinks women are neither safe nor free in Pakistan. And then they include her quote. And then they continue, should we blame Pakistan for every wrongdoing of its citizens, or should we blame the system and those who are the beneficiaries of the system? And then if you scroll down, the comment section is just a freaking nightmare.
The system is Pakistan. What is Pakistan other than the systems that make Pakistan? Like, should we blame Pakistan or the systems? What is Pakistan? Like, it's the systems of which make the country how it runs. Like, that is like, you're talking about the same thing. I just before I go to the comments, I just want to say that I tend to notice a lot of people think like they're loving the country more when they actually don't blame the culture or don't blame the country or don't try to like associate things that are wrong with policies or the culture. They are on this PR campaign to make their country look good and try to save face internationally by not blaming anything that is, might be India or Pakistan or, I don't know, Iran. People who want to be like nationalists are like, oh, or love their countries in some way. They're like, oh, it's not, these are not the problems. The problem is from outside. It's from foreign countries. It's because of this and this and this. And we blame everything other than the culture or anything that has to do with our country. Okay. But the interesting thing is that That's the thing you need to do if you hate your country, okay? Because if you actually love your country, you want to find the problems and fix them. Like, it's amazing that the people who seem to be acting like they're the greatest lovers of their country seem to be at the front line at making sure that the problems with their country does not actually get fixed. Yeah.
You know, that reminds me of something Vosh says. He's like, you know what made America great? Whiny bitches like me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, true.
Yeah, the people who are complaining, they are actually the people who are good for your country. They are the ones who are actually going to make your country better because they're complaining. Complaining is the source of actually addressing the problems that your country have. The people are like, nothing to see here, everything is good, all our problems coming from other places. Those are the people who are going to keep your country behind. Which comments?
Yeah, I mean, we don't really have to read the comments because most of them aren't in English, but the ones that I could understand in English are basically like all telling her, like, just leave then. What are you doing here? Like, all these feminists need to leave. The one comment was like, the solution is simple. Just wear the hijab. Like,
yeah.
Like, everyone, like, all these, like, feminist actors need to get out of here. Like, just, and
so,
like,
you know what they sound like? They sound like the American nationalists who are like, well, if you don't like it, you could leave. Or like, you guys have you even read the history of your country? Everything great about your country is the people who didn't leave, who stayed and complained and protested and made things better. Like, no. Like, if everybody who didn't like things left, your country would be horrible.
And also, I saw a video of the woman who I believe was the primary victim of this attack, and like, she was a hijabi. You know, like, I hate when they use that as an excuse of like how women should be treated or mistreated, when actually women who are following your prescribed notions of purdah or covering yourself, concealing your aura and all this stuff are just as subject to sexual abuse as any other woman, especially considering that all that modesty culture actually is hypersexualizing them. It makes people in general, not even exclusively men, more hyperfixated on the sexuality of women in the slightest aspects of their body, because they're so trained to think that the smallest bit of skin is so temptuous, instead of just like the largest organ of my body,
Right. I do want to say, though, like I usually say, that if it's true, okay, that showing more skin and wearing more revealing clothes makes you, gives you a higher chance of assault, okay, then the response to that is not to cover up. The response to that, you don't negotiate with people with sexual abusers. This is like, you don't give in. You have to be able to wear whatever you want, like, because a lot of people are saying, like, yes, you might have you might have examples of people covering up completely and still getting assaulted. Those are just, but that's anecdotal evidence. It might be true. Again, I'm not saying it is, I'm not saying it not. It might be true that wearing more revealing clothes on average, not completely, makes you a higher chance of becoming a target. However, the response to that should not be to give up on your freedoms. The response to that is a country that protects women who want to wear whatever they want. Okay, so please don't go out and say, like, no, wearing revealing clothes or covering up has no impact, because it might have an impact. It might be true that covering up lowers your chances of assault, but you shouldn't have to cover up because it lowers, the response should be better security, more punishment for people who are doing the assault, and better culture. That is the response, okay? Even if it's true, that's not, we don't negotiate with sexual abusers. We don't give in. We don't give up our freedoms because they are taking our security away. Anyways.
And for the people who are too upset by what Armin just said to actually listen to what he just said, he used skeptical language, like, if that is even true. He did not say that that was true, because I know that there will be some people who watch this and lose their minds.
Yeah, it might be true.
But what else is new?
Yeah, I mean, let them discern. It's fine. It's okay, but thank you for that. Oh, Susie, trying to defend me. That's so sweet.
Of course.
Okay, should we go to the next news?
Yes.
Can we clap?
Yeah.
Next news.
Next news. Last Jew in Afghanistan refuses to grant wife a Jewish divorce. So this story is a roller coaster. Okay. Zamdulan Simantov, at 61, is considered the last Jew in Afghanistan. From the taxing compliance to the Jewish diet to the scarcity of financial income, his life has become a source of novelty coverage for many local media outlets in the area. But the most striking oddity that has become synonymous with Kabul's last remaining Jew is his persistent refusal to grant his wife a Jewish divorce. In Simontov's case, his wife and children immigrated to Israel in 1998 and have lived there since. Simonov accompanied his family during the immigration, but returned to Afghanistan shortly after. He is unwilling to leave Afghanistan as he claims that there would be no one left to take care of the last remaining synagogue in the country. Numerous attempts were made in the past to facilitate the divorce, with Simatov consistently changing his mind. Until today, Simatov's wife remains a chained woman, or an agunat. She remains locked in a religious and legal contract. So this was interesting to me because this one, considering what's happening in Afghanistan, kind of the coverage that this man is getting is very interesting as the last Jew in the country.
Is he really? I can't believe that.
The last one that practices Judaism.
In all
maybe there
of
are people who are ethnically.
Okay.
Yeah, before 2005, there were only 2 Jews in Afghanistan. One of them was this guy whose last name was Levy, and he died in 2005. Meaning that, and they would fight with each other over who got proper ownership of the synagogue.
Wait,
no, Armin, it gets better. It gets better. I have to tell you guys the story. No, I have to tell you the story because I was talking. Our editor was telling me details about it, and I thought he was joking until I went to go look it up myself. So it's like.
Okay, come on.
So the last 2 Jews in Afghanistan would fight with each other over who owned the synagogue or who was in charge of being its warden. And under the Taliban, they would tell on each other to the Taliban. They would they would fight with each other and they would bring their contentions to the Taliban. And the Taliban this is real, you guys. The Taliban got so tired of them and their BS that they arrested and detained both of them until their arguing was so bad in jail that they let them back out.
No way. Go on. No way.
It's true.
No, this can't be true. I don't believe it. This is too good.
It's so funny.
Wait, the Taliban couldn't take it. The Taliban, who these people who have to deal with oh my god, amazing. Yeah,
wait, I have to find this article because it was the funniest thing in the world. Literally, they oh my god, I have to find this. Someone who was interviewing them spoke to a Taliban spokesperson and was like, yes, I remember these guys. They were the worst.
If this does not turn into a movie, I would be so mad. the name of the movie should be The Last Jew in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
That should be, it would be, that is amazing. I can't imagine like just like a Taliban person in jail, like just going like this, and they're like fighting each other, and the Taliban can't take it anymore. That is amazing. Wait, so why do they even need a synagogue? Like, there's no Jewish people to go to the synagogue. Like, they're like, I'm the warden, I manage this. Manage it for what? There's nobody showing up there. Oh wait, it's for Yahweh. I forgot. Like, the whole point of that is to do. Yeah, okay, never mind. It's not like a Christian church that is supposed to be for the people. You're supposed to do the things for Yahweh in the synagogue. Okay, never mind. That makes as much theological sense as anything else religious. I don't even know how to joke about this, because the story on itself is just like amazingly. It's
like I told you, cute. I had to cover the story because it's such a roller coaster.
Yeah,
it's so crazy.
Zakur is saying, when even the Taliban can't take you anymore, you know you're awesome. You know, I know we make fun of religious people, but this is kind of cute. I don't know. This is like, I mean, you would think like if you're like a Jew, like most people's assumption would be like if you're a Jew in Afghanistan, you would be like running away from Taliban. You want to keep your identity hidden. You're worried about what the Taliban is going to do to you. But these people like officially went to the Taliban to complain about each other.
Literally. It's so iconic.
And their concern was so much about, like, when they were in jail, like they had, like, it seemed like their concern was not that they're arrested, that they're in jail. Like, while in jail, their main concern was still like each other. Like, they're like not phased at all. Like, you're arrested for annoying the hell out of us, and they're like, yeah, whatever. They keep fighting with each other. Like, it's such a high priority, for them who owns the synagogue, that like being arrested, being under, like, being in an Islamic country that maybe isn't like Jews, none of this is like phasing them in any way. Like, that's just the only thing that matters. That's so amazing.
No, it was so funny. They hated each other. The two of them hated each other so much. Like, I can't find the source right now, but one guy was quoted as basically saying, like, you know, like the Taliban, like, they're not, like, I never had too much of a problem with them. This guy, he's worse than a dog.
Oh my God. Wait, don't say that. We might get in trouble. YouTube might, like, don't use animal names or something. Yeah, YouTube. See, we can't even joke about these things. I have so many like things I want to say that is funny about this, I think, but I mean, I think it's funny, but I think it might be seen as a joke, stereotypical or something. And we might get in trouble for it. So
yeah, here's a quote. The Taliban was so annoyed by their constant fighting that they threw them in jail, but they eventually kicked them out because they continued their fighting inside the prison.
Wow, amazing.
It's so iconic. But what's so interesting, to get back to like the meat of this story, is that there has been like an international effort to try to get this guy to give his wife a divorce, because in Jewish law, or an aspect of Jewish law, which I think is called like halakha, like the husband has to grant it. Like, there is no other alternative. I might have a flawed understanding. And he just refuses. He's gone back and forth. There's been like rabbis from like Uzbekistan, like all over the place, like Israel, like business people who are offering to like fly in people, like to help initiate this divorce, and he just like won't do it, even though he hasn't been with his family since like 98.
Why has their divorce been such a major focus of interest internationally?
I don't know. Probably the fact that he is the last known Jew in Afghanistan, and that kind of makes him more prominent, probably. And also, I think a lot of people in the Jewish community don't like that there is this very easy way to just abuse women. And this is a way to abuse women because it's literally called being chained. She cannot move forward with her life because he just refuses to do this. So just possibly just out of sympathy for this woman, you know?
I mean, all the elements of the movie is all in this one story. Like you have, and the coincidence of all of this happening while Afghanistan is falling to Taliban, like in the middle of a war, it just makes it like that's such a, for a movie, that would be such a background thing, such a good thing to have in the background. Like you have this comedic effect where you have two Jews fighting in jail and Taliban being annoyed with them. You have like some romantic or marriage drama going on, which is the subject of international attention. So that's a perfect element in the movie. And all of this is happening on the background of Afghanistan falling into the hand of Taliban. Like how, like if again, it would be a crime against humanity if this doesn't turn into a movie.
Yeah,
like it's perfect. It has everything.
It's really, he's a really interesting man. Like he's said, he's like, I kind of admire his tenacity. He refuses to leave Afghanistan. He's like, I was here like before the Soviets. I was here during the Soviets. I was here when the Taliban first ruled. I was here afterwards. I'm still here. Like, I'm not going to leave. I'm going to like protect in this synagogue as best as I can. Interestingly, when he was having this fight with the other Jew, whose last name was Levy, I can't remember exactly how it happened, but basically the Taliban took from them a 15th century Torah. And so it's like his mission to find this Torah again, and to return it to the synagogue. And he's like, I'm not leaving. Or like in period, I'm not leaving, but I'm certainly not leaving until I have this Torah back.
Wait, so look, here's another element to the movie. Like as if that wasn't enough, there's a lost treasure. There's a treasure hunt as well. Like on top of all of this, oh my God, this is perfect. This is a perfect movie.
Possibly sold on the black market.
It has tragedy. It has comedy. It has drama. It has treasure hunt. It has like a war action. It has everything. Amazing. I can't believe this.
And a very feisty Afghan Jew in the middle. Like all the reports I read about it talk about how he's so feisty.
This is, oh my God. Like secularity, oh my God! Secularity in left chest is saying, "Oh my God!" He goes on a effing journey to find the Torah with his friend, who he hates, while evading the Taliban the whole time. Yeah, again, this is I don't know what else to say other than the fact that this has to become a movie.
Yeah,
I can't.
So
yeah,
I just knew we had to cover this story because it was such a roller coaster.
Wait, you have some videos of this guy?
Oh yeah, do we want to watch that? It's just kind of a little profile of him. Wait, go to the second one, the second tweet. Yeah, down there.
Wait, we need to put audio. Tell me if you have audio, okay?
Kabul fearing persecution by the Taliban. But there are a few who have decided to stay even though they know that dark days are coming. One of them is Afghanistan's last Jew. Zebulan Simontov said that he had the chance to escape to the US, but he's unwilling to leave his home. He had also mulled moving to Israel, where his family lives.
I love him.
The 62-year-old had said that the Taliban considers him an infidel. Simontov was born in Afghanistan's Herat province and has spent his life witnessing turmoil. He has seen it all: the Soviet invasion, the Afghan civil war, and the first Taliban rule. He is now bracing himself for the second Islamic Emirate regime. Simontov has said that the Taliban tried to convert him in the past.
Wait, I understand him. He's speaking Persian.
Translate.
بذار شلاق کبر اینجا مثلا میرن مسلمان میرن دیویا و سیکا اینجا نداره.
Okay, he's speaking with some very heavy accent, but he's speaking Persian. He's talking about some if I become a Muslim, if I don't become a Muslim, they might beat me. What?
مسلمان میرن دیویا و سیکا اینجا نداره. از دست سال دیگه کار چی چه نمیشه دیگه بریش بذار شلاق کبر.
He's talking about like a flog or something. Again, his accent.
I think they have captions in English right there.
Oh wait, whipping. See, I was right. Whipping people. Talibans are still the same as 20 years ago. Whipping people with cables. Yeah. It's like saying this is the Taliban today is the same as the Taliban 20 years ago.
He said that he even went to prison 4 times. So what made him stay on? The 62-year-old is the caretaker of the last operational synagogue in Kabul.
I want to see the synagogue.
The synagogue would have fallen into despair had it not been for him. 70 years ago, Afghanistan was home to 5,000 Jews, but their population began dwindling after 1948, when Jews started migrating to Israel. The remaining Jews left following years of turmoil, which culminated into the Taliban's rule. Our correspondent Anas Malik gets you more.
Show me the synagogue.
The last Jew in Afghanistan goes to stay back and remain in his country, regardless of whosoever rules the country. Anas Malik in Kabul, Afghanistan, for Leon.
Wow, thank you for that. We already heard that. Wait. So a lot of people might not know he's Ahlul Kitab. So the Taliban is not gonna like kill him or anything like that. Like he is a heretic in their eyes, but he's still like it would be really bad look. I know, like you might be like, oh, really, Armin, bad look for Taliban? Yeah, bad look for Taliban based on their own standard.
Yeah.
If they have like one Jew left, and if they like do anything to him, based on their not based on our standard, they already look like, but based on their own standard, like they're supposed to not harm the people who are Ahlul Kitab, which means people of the book, which means Jews and Christians, right? So if this is the last Jew and something happens to him, it would, it would look really bad, even, through Islamic standards for the Taliban. So that's just wanted to keep that in mind. Like Islamic Emirate, as now Taliban wants to call itself, is supposed to be a place where it's a protector of all people who are the people of the book or Ahlul Kitab.
Well, anyways, as long as the Ahlul Kitab that aren't actually Muslims, like, pay their tax, essentially.
Yeah, but like
it's an extortion racket.
Yeah, but you need to be able to communicate that you're doing the protection while having it like some Jews there to do the protection for, right? Like at least, so if you don't have any, like if you're like no Jews, like and they all left, so like, yeah.
But the problem is when his practices and stuff like come under question and persecution because they're not in line with
you
Islamic
get to practice.
law.
You get to practice. You don't get to promote.
Okay.
You're so as a Christian, as a Jew, technically under Islam, you get to practice it. You just don't get to convert people to your religion. That's what you do.
Then why are so many Christians persecuted simply for believing in the Trinity?
Where?
Like there's lots of stories of that around the world in Islamic countries.
Well, I mean, a lot of Islamic countries don't really follow Islam, and also a lot of them get persecuted for doing missionary work, which you're not supposed to do. Like missionary work is illegal. Yeah, and again, depends on the country. So I don't know which countries you're referring to, but it really depends on the country. And sometimes they get attacked from the people and not by the government. So I don't know.
Yeah, you're right. Because that's what I think about. It's like there's a difference between Islamic law and then just like anti-Semitism in general.
Yeah. I mean, the Iranian government hangs people. Like, that's not Islamic. You're supposed to like do beheadings. So like, I mean, it's not always in accordance with the teaching of Islam. So there's that. All right. So we get to clap for the next news?
I don't think we should. No.
Oh, okay. Next news.
Rwandan refugee turns himself in, admits to killing French priest. In France, on August 9th, Emmanuel Abayisinga, a Rwandan refugee in France, walked into a military police station in Vendée and turned himself in after confessing he had just murdered a priest. Police officers were dispatched to the location to conduct an investigation. The police found the body of Father Olivier Marie in Abayisinga's room at the location. Emmanuel had traveled to France as a refugee in 2012 and began working on his asylum application. His application was denied and he was subjected to expulsion. This murder incident by an asylum seeker has sparked political debates over immigration policies. Marine Le Pen, a far-right political figure and a member of the National Rally, criticized the government for allowing a denied asylum seeker to stay in France after being issued an expulsion order.
Wait, why did he? I might have missed it. Why did he do what was his motivation?
That's what's so weird about this. There has been like no well-defined motive that's been released publicly as of late. The police did say that they don't think that it's extreme, like radical extremism related. I can't say the T word because of YouTube. But they've said that they don't think it's that. But it's a very bizarre situation. So he was denied his asylum case. I'm not exactly clear when, but then he was basically he's been charged with arson. So before the murder, he was arrested for arson, where he started fires in a cathedral where he was volunteering as a warden, and this destroyed like a 400-year-old like church organ. And he was charged, and he was later released following disciplinary instructions. And then the cathedral basically like didn't press legal action against him, and that they said, oh, like we can trust him like we trust all of our helpers. What? And then this priest actually was like lent him housing. This priest was housing him while his arson case was underway. And then this happened. And there's like no real explanation that I found as to why. And people in the community are very upset about this because they're saying like that everyone who's been harmed by this are essentially, as they used their words, like victims of their charity. Because this meant like this priest actually like lent this man housing.
Wait, so he first burned the church, burned a 400-year-old organ, and the church was like, it's okay, we're not going to press charges. In fact, stick around. And
yeah,
and after he burned the church, and they were like, we're actually going to continue keeping you around, and we're going to help you with housing. And the priest who was involved with trying to get him housing, he was like, okay, I'm going to murder you now. This is such a bizarre story. This guy doesn't seem well. Like, I don't know.
No.
Actually, I'm not a mental health expert. I don't think there's any ideology or anything involved here. I just think this guy is not, his brain is not functioning properly. I assume. I'm not sure, actually. I'm not an expert.
I mean,
okay?
I don't think it takes a professional to say that this is some pretty bizarre behavior.
Yeah. Doesn't seem like ideologically driven either. It just seems like this guy is like has some major issues. What's wrong with the church though? Like, aren't you putting the people at church at risk if somebody committed arson and you just keep them around? Like, I mean, we want to blame the French government, which we could do here. I don't know what the processes they have for when their asylum case doesn't go through. What is the process for them to remove them? Like, maybe it takes a while or something. So I don't know. I don't know enough about the process to be able to criticize the French government. But the goddamn church, like, this is when you see, like, we all know about the bad things about the church teaching and the Catholic Church or all Christian churches, but the so-called good parts of the Christian church is just moronic. Like, it's like they take good behavior and they make it they try to, like, the way that they try to be good is the most bizarre, nonsensical way possible. Like, you know what I mean? Like, people are like, well, there's some good teachings in Christianity. I'm like, no, there isn't. They take good behavior and they break it apart. They're like, forgive everybody. I'm like, everybody? Like, yeah, everybody. Like, wait, so the murderer of my child? Like, yeah. Like, no, no, yet not. That is not. You're love everyone. Everyone? Yeah, everybody. Love your enemies. Like, what are these like crazy requests? Like, these are it's impossible. Like, you're making a request of me that is impossible, and you're making it seem like that's a good thing. These are impossible requests. Love everybody, forgive everybody. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
like, no, you're making things that sound good, and you're breaking it apart, and you're ruining it, and you're making it seem like you're like having good teaching. Like, no, you're just because you
because
take some
it's
good
too
behavior.
absolute.
Yes. Oh, thank you for, yeah. You're describing it much better than I. Yeah, it's too absolute, and this is the result. I mean, they think like they think they're being kind. You're putting people at risk. Your good nature has killed your priest. You're responsible. Your charitable good nature, like the things that you think is positive, is insane. And like, this guy, I don't actually blame this guy. This guy, if he's actually mentally has a mental disorder, that's not his fault. He doesn't seem like he knows. Like, it's not like his brain is functioning properly. If that is true, I think I blame the church more than this guy. This guy needs mental assistance or something. This guy is sick. But what about the church? You know, look at the good teachings of the church. Like, look at how they're trying to be charitable and good. They are responsible. Like, this guy was dangerous, and they could have put more people in danger. Like, he committed arson. Like, what about the people who are attending the church? You think you're being kind? You're putting these people's lives at risk, right? There's ways to be good, and there are ways to act like you're being good while being a moron and being irresponsible. So these are the
Well,
good teachings of. This is what I have a problem with, like the good parts of the Islam or Christianity. But go on.
Well, it's really interesting because, like, a lot of commentary I've seen of people who are like representatives of this community kind of actually like doubles down on exactly what you were talking about. So, the head of the religious community of Montfort Santino Brambilla, I'm pronouncing this like it's Spanish. I don't know how to pronounce it in French. Said he was not angry at the suspect even after Marie was killed. This is a human drama, but the suffering is great. And then Gerard Darmanin, who I believe is the interior minister, who has a reputation for being tough on immigration, said, quote, the charity, the spirit of welcome that governed the Catholic Church but ended in a drama is a point of honor that we must salute. So they're basically saying the fact that they were so charitable to the point that something like this has happened, like, is actually something like honorable.
Oh wow, we're so honored that we put our priests and our members and our church attendees at risk. Wow, such an honor. Guys, I'm also not angry at this guy. He seems like he's not well. Like, but I'm angry at the church. I think that, like, I don't think this person deserves much anger. Like, he just seems like he needs help. But the church, yeah,
it's just like the suspect had admitted that he had set 3 fires in the cathedral that he had been tasked with locking up. So like he had, and his little spat of arson happened about a year ago or a year prior. So he clearly had a wait, let me see this. The prosecutor's statement said that the Montfort community home took in Abayisenga after judicial authorities investigating the fire allowed him to leave prison on May 31st after judicial control. He was then hospitalized for psychiatric exams until July 29th when he returned to the order, meaning returned to the Catholic place where he was staying.
The same, wait, he went back to the same church that he put on fire?
Not the same church, because I'm not exactly sure how they are, what the system is, but they sounded like different locations from the way that I was reading it.
Right. Yeah, he shouldn't be going to any church after, like he said, one on fire or any. Okay, I don't understand how French laws work. If somebody doesn't press charges for arson, you go free. Like, aren't you a danger to society? Like, shouldn't there be like, no, just because nobody pressed charges doesn't mean that you get to go free?
It seemed
I don't know how
like
French.
there was like they weren't going to themselves like really go after him, but there was still like processes that needed to occur, and then he was being housed with this. The priest offered him this housing while those other processes could continue.
All right.
That was my understanding.
I just think like it's just like if somebody's such a danger to society, they need to be held somewhere. I don't know. Again, I'm not a legal expert. I'm not a mental health expert, so I don't know. It just doesn't seem right. Yeah. Just okay. Anyways, okay. So, can we clap for the next news?
Yes.
Next news.
Next news. New study shows that most Americans now believe in the theory of evolution. Yay!
Wow! Amazing. You did it, America.
We did it, you guys.
Oh no. Oh my god. Again, this seems like it's good news, but it's actually bad news. Really?
When the study came out, I was like, oh no.
Like
Okay. So
wow, half of Americans are not absolute idiots. Actually, there might be, I don't know. But anyways, continue.
A new study published online by Sage Publishing, backed with a substantially generous amount of data, showed that more than half of adult Americans accept evolution. After collecting data from a series of national surveys from the past 35 years, the study claims that the first 2 decades of the 21st century have seen a notable increase in the public's level of acceptance of the theory of evolution. Another notable trend that the authors identified with their data analysis is the narrowing of the difference in the level of evolution acceptance between the sexes. According to the authors, this change directly corresponds to the increase in women earning college degrees, jumping from 17% to 35% over the last 30 years. So there's more that we can get into, but Armin, what's your immediate take?
This is why the church was right. You shouldn't let women be educated. This is going to hurt. This is why they were trying to deny women education. Like, they're like, look, we told you. Now people believe in evolution. Are you happy? But I can't still believe it. The most advanced, the most powerful country on the planet. It took them till now for half of them to finally have like an elementary understanding of science. Amazing.
Yeah, it kind of explains like where we are in a lot of ways.
Oh my god. Yeah.
The country that is our political landscape a lot. So there's another excerpt that I want to read. The author's examination reveals that Americans who accepted evolution and those who didn't were evenly divided from I'm so dyslexic. From 1985 until 2007. Lead researcher John Miller described the trend as a statistical dead heat between acceptance and rejection of evolution. So that is until 2007, you guys. The difference between acceptance and non-acceptance continued to increase from 2007 until 2012. But with no sides breaching 50% or more than half of the entire respondents. By 2015, the number of those who accept evolution finally reached more than 50% and has continued to increase towards 2020. So we finally hit that halfway mark in 2015. It's crazy to think about, honestly.
At what grade in elementary school you learn about evolution and stuff?
I don't know. I went to Catholic school.
Oh no.
I don't know when other people learn it.
Yeah. I don't know. I was just thinking, like, so United States just managed to like reach average 12-year-old knowledge or something like that. No, that's great.
Basically. Well, it's really tough because it's so variable depending on what state you live in and how politicized the education and textbooks you receive as a public school student are. And like we've covered recently that there were like moves in Arkansas to make it okay to teach children creationism alongside science in science classes, which is unconstitutional. There was another excerpt I wanted to read. One of the authors also added that the increase in college-educated Americans corresponded to the rise of acceptance of evolution because, quote, it's hard to earn a college degree without acquiring at least a little respect for the success of science. The study also identified factors that lead to the non-acceptance of evolution. The strongest contender is religious fundamentalism. Adding more to its swaying effect is the politicization of religion in America. As of 2019, only 34% of Republicans accept evolution.
Wait, what? How many?
As of 2019, only 34% of Republicans accept evolution, compared to 83% of Democrats.
If you're one of the Republicans who does actually believe in science and evolution and something about the I'm not going to say it because YouTube might strike us down. If you're not one of those idiots, why are you even still in the party? Like, are you not embarrassed? Like, are you not like looking at your party of like, why am I with these people? Like, why
I'm on the it reminds me of Mufti Abulay saying what the Sunshine Group.
Like, I don't know if we should say that. That might be like ableist or something like that.
I don't
But
know.
yeah. No, but it's like get out of there. Like, okay, if you want to be right leaning or like, I don't know, conservative or stuff, I mean, that's already stupid. But like, are you happy with the people you're surrounded by? Like, are you not looking at it like, why am I associating with people? Like, if you think you could save it or make it better, like, no, you can't. It's too far gone. Like, that whole party is like a mess. Like, get out of there.
Yeah. Yeah, and a lot of their contention with the left is just like, well, I don't like overblowing it on identity politics, blah blah blah. I'm like, I would rather deal with that than this nonsense. Are you kidding me?
Okay, that is stupid because it's like it's assuming that the Republican Party doesn't deal with identity politics.
True.
They are the original identity politics people.
It's
like,
the wokists, Armin. The Democrat
No.
part, they're obsessed with the wokists. They're overrun. It's not I'm like, I'd rather deal with that than this. Oh my god.
But it's them that who care about gay, people's sexual orientation, gender identity. They are the ones who care about race. Actually, they are like. Anyways, I don't. We're getting off track.
There was one more quote from the author that one of the authors I wanted to read. So one of the authors, John Miller, explained that the increasing gap between Republican and Democrats' acceptance of evolution, stating that, quote, beliefs are not only tenacious, but also increasingly politicized. So basically kind of expressing that people might not even necessarily be holding a denial of evolution because of maybe their education, but more because they see it as an in-group, out-group thing.
Right. Yes, it's all about it's about your tribe rather than actually figuring out what's true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Yay, America! You're less moronic than before, but still pretty far behind compared to every single other developed country in the world. So
we made it in 2015.
Amazing.
It's so bad.
Yeah. Anyways, can we clap for the next news?
Yes, we can.
Next news.
Next news. Girls robotics team safely flees Afghanistan, receives scholarship offers. So I wanted to make sure we ended this week on a very happy note. Amidst the chaos unfolding in Afghanistan, the all-women's robotics team, known as the Afghan Dreamers, was flown safely to Qatar over the weekend. This news was confirmed by the Digital Citizen Fund, which is a US-based nonprofit organization and the main sponsors of the robotics team. In 2015, the team won a silver medal during the first global challenge hosted in Washington. What made their success an even bigger story was the multiple visa rejections they endured prior to entering the US for the competition. On August 24th, the girls landed in Mexico. Marcelo Ebrard, the foreign minister of Mexico, met them at the Benito Juarez International Airport, and he has accepted their passports to process their applications for refugee status.
I mean, this is good news and all, but what a loss to Afghanistan, right?
True.
Look at all this, look at all this amazing, talent and, all the potential for Afghanistan is leaving. There's such a big brain drain right now that is happening. Like this, and what a gain to Mexico, by the way. Congratulations to Mexico for this is a major win. Good job for providing these wonderful girls a home. So, thank you, Mexico. But again, sorry for Afghanistan to lose such a valuable resource. Yeah, go ahead.
I want to highlight another really special aspect of the story. So Alison Renault, who you can see in the middle of this photo that we have for our thumbnail, wearing kind of the black and white top. She is a 60-year-old mother of 11 from Oklahoma who met the team back in 2019 during a Humans to Mars summit in Washington, D.C. And she played a huge role in helping the Afghan Dreamers leave Afghanistan. Renault kept a correspondence with the girls after they met, and because she's just a motherly person, she felt drawn to them. After an unsuccessful attempt to help the girls to get to the U.S., she flew to Qatar with an acquaintance and began working on the girls' paperwork with the Qatari embassy. So, things weren't going the way she wanted. Within 48 hours, she was in a plane to Qatar. She's like, I'm taking care of this myself. According to Renault, even when the girls were still in Qatar, they started receiving scholarship offers, including grants from incredible universities. The girls now have, quote, the freedom to choose and to be the architects of their own destiny. Renault felt free knowing that they can, quote, get educated wherever they want. So I just wanted to highlight that in the work of this amazing woman to help secure the safety and continuing education of all of these women. And yeah, I think your point is very well put. These are women who probably wanted to educate and contribute as much as they could to their community and culture and society in Afghanistan. And now they can't do that safely. So they're going to have to, try to continue and have to try to give back to their community in other ways, as the Afghan diaspora has now just exploded, because there's tens of thousands
continue
of people.
to continue. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we wish the best for Afghanistan. However, a lot of the talent that is needed to fix Afghanistan is going to continue to leave Afghanistan
At every given opportunity. Yeah.
Yeah. And again, the people with the best talent and with the best know-how and the greatest skills are the people who usually do well enough, not always, but do well enough to have the resources and the connections to be able to get out of the country, right? So, I mean, a lot of people want to leave Afghanistan, but usually a lot of the people that have the best skills are the ones that will have the ability to leave Afghanistan. So Afghanistan is going to lose some of its best people, a lot of its best people, and I can't imagine what it would do to the hopes for making any improvement. There's a reason why a lot of people have such a high impression of the people in a country by meeting the people who are not of that country but are not in that country, right? Because you're basically getting a sample of their best. They're like, oh my god,
Damn,
people are
that's well
from
put.
this country. Yeah, people of this country seem to be amazingly talented and kind and nice and smart and educated. Like, wow, is everybody in your country like that? And usually the answer is like, no.
Damn.
No, this is our best.
Are you speaking from personal experience?
Well, I'm not gonna elaborate.
I'm kidding.
All right. Okay, let me bring up the next news. Oh wow, the last news. Wait, before I show it, this is safe to show on the screen, like what I'm having. Yeah, right. Like
Maybe we should show the safer work version.
This is okay. This is censored. No. Okay, fine. So which one? Okay.
Yeah,
so
let's go with that. Let's go with that.
Let's go. Yeah, I think it's fine. Yeah, I think this is good. All right. So we're clapping, right? Wait, is there anything we need to highlight about this before we continue?
No.
All right. Next news.
New Lesbian Kaaba blasphemous art. So we just wanted to highlight some beautiful art we made recently. Well, we didn't make it. We commissioned our amazingly talented artist.
We did make it because she's atheist. She's our artist. She's part of Atheist Republic. So it's us.
Okay. Yes, a collective we. Just so people didn't think it was us too. I'm not this talented. So yes, well, should we talk about the background of this art? Like Armin, it was
well,
your
for people,
idea.
let's give some. Well, see, like some people are like don't understand what this is, so because some people don't know that we do blasphemous art. Okay, so guys, every week we have new blasphemous art, but this week's blasphemous art we just wanted to it was very special, so we wanted to make sure that we share it with you guys. By the way, link to the uncensored version of this is in the description. Is under News 10 for people who want to see the uncensored version of this. This was my idea. So if we're gonna have more of this, okay, we're gonna have more Kaaba themed blasphemous art, because as I have mentioned many times here, that it is my prediction that one day there's going to be maybe not in our lifetime, but there's going to be one day that is going to be a gay pride parade around Kaaba. Okay. That is, and when that happens, people need to unearth the videos of me coming up with this prediction and be like, how did he know? Right. But as a way to like show how, LGBT and will people loving each other the way they want will one day take over everywhere on the planet. We try to keep highlighting that in the last place that a lot of people would assume it will happen. Okay. So this art goes to celebrating that. And we're going to have more of this. We're going to have more Kaaba themed gay and lesbian art. Okay. Maybe we should have Muhammad and a Hindu god at the Kaaba. Like, I think we should have one of that as well. Yeah. So that would be interesting as well. Wait, do you want to read the caption for it? By the way, for people who want to like don't know, like we have blasphemous art every single week. Okay, if you want to see the blasphemous art that we make every single week, this is just one of them. Like how many have we made so far? Like we're at, let me actually check the right number. We have made many now.
Maybe almost 100.
And
we've been doing like 2 a week for almost a year now, 2 or more a week.
We have 80 right now.
Around 80. Gosh. Yeah.
Yeah. So you want to read the caption for this?
Yes. Okay. So this is the caption we came up with. Tell a little story. Saying, when Nadia went on Hajj, she was expecting a spiritual experience unlike anything she's felt before. However, she was disappointed when her pilgrimage did not meet her expectations. Then, when her eyes fell upon Amina, she experienced divinity in a way she never anticipated.
Right. AJ is saying, how about the Hindu god Jesus and Muhammad at the Kaaba? We're trying to keep all our art because we are getting our artists to do so much work. So doing 3 character art is more time consuming than doing 2. So that's why, for the sake of making sure that we meet our quota every month, we're trying to make sure that every single art piece has only 2 characters in it. Oh yeah, by the way, I just want to say, like, I have to be careful not to click on the uncensored word, because then it's going to see, if I click here, you're going to see.
Oh my God, don't do it.
Yeah, actually, let me be careful. Let me actually show the main homepage. I have to, like, not click on anything just in case, like, there's an accident. All right. So see, if you go to blasphemousart.com, you should be able to see all our art. Okay. And you can see these buttons that takes you to the uncensored version. Okay. And if you want to make sure that our art gets emailed to you, you could get the ebook. You could subscribe to our newsletter and get the ebook of all of our art, which gets updated for every once in a while. And also, the people who have access to the uncensored version are the patrons, who are responsible for making it possible for us to pay for all this art, right? So thank you so much for everybody who's supporting us on Patreon. You guys are responsible for us being able to consistently make beautiful art like this every single week. I have to be really careful not to click on this. Okay, gotta get a strike. Okay, so yeah, so link in the description to link for you to find all our art, and also if you want to support us to make more art, because once we get enough patrons, we're gonna start animating. Like right now, we're experimenting a little with animation, but we're gonna make more animation once we get. How many patrons we're gonna have to reach to actually make serious animation? Sus, you don't remember?
At least like 500.
No, I think 500 is going, like, we're gonna step up the short animations. But if we hit, like, if we ever reach 1,000 animation, like, we're gonna make short little movies, like Blasphemous art like this. So if you want to help us get there, link in the description. But if you don't want to support us on Patreon financially, you could just subscribe to our newsletter, and you get the Safe for Work version of all this art for free. So a link to that in the description. And yeah, so
wait, this is something Vlad is asking. Why? What is the point? Well,
look at it.
If you subscribe to our newsletter and then download the ebook, it kind of tells you more of the backstory, because there was a big occasion, which we are approaching the 1st anniversary of, that inspired this. But basically, it was the backlash to some of Armin's blasphemy towards a Hindu goddess by calling her sexy that prompted a huge firestorm towards our organization. And instead of backing down under the worst harassment any of us have ever experienced, we decided to double down and say, no, we're not doing anything wrong. This isn't wrong. LGBT stuff isn't wrong. We want to normalize it. Blaspheming stuff that is sacred or holy isn't wrong. It isn't harmful. We want to normalize that. Being sex positive or reimagining religious stories to be more like the stories we want to tell, that's creative. We're challenging norms. These things aren't wrong. So that's just a little bit of the background into why we turned this into an entire project. And it's a lot of fun. Armin and I and our team come up with some pretty hilarious ideas. And we have a lot of fun doing it.
Yes. Yeah, actually, the fun part of it is also very important, because sometimes, like, we tell you all the reasons why we're doing this, okay? But at the same time, we do have a lot of reasons for why we're doing this. But also, if we didn't have any reason, this will still be okay. Like, this is beautiful. You know what I mean? Like, even if you're doing, like, we are trying to normalize blasphemy. We're trying to promote sex positivity, and we're trying to normalize dissent. We're trying to promote free speech. But if we weren't doing any of those things, look at the art. Is it not beautiful? Like, wouldn't it also be okay
True.
to just do this? Just do this because it's just beautiful to look at? Like, what if we're just having fun? Like, we have our reasons, but we don't even need those reasons. What if we wanted to do art because people like it, people seem to be enjoying it, and we enjoy making them? What if that was the only reason, right? Another thing that I mean, I'm saying even then it would be completely okay. Another thing I wanted to mention is some people like on YouTube were like keep saying like, "Oh, you're demonizing Muslims." Like, really demonizing Muslims? Like, your homophobia is showing. This is like demonizing Muslims. Like, if you see this as an insult, then I'm sorry. No, I'm not sorry. What I'm talking about? You're a homophobe. Okay, so if you see this as an attack, one of the things that we're showing is how homophobic people are by thinking that by seeing this as an insult, right? Like, we're exposing their homophobia by them getting offended by all of this, right? Or people's general sex negativity, and also people's sexism, because we have a lot of like male art, gay male art, straight art with male, and people like look at this and like, you're sexualizing women or you're objectifying women. I'm like, no, you are, because because you see that we have male on male art, and but you get offended when it's female with female, or when there's any female, like when we have
Apparently,
like sexual.
displaying female sexuality is inherently objectifying, but it isn't for men.
No,
I'm like,
but
I take offense to that.
No, yeah, I mean, it shows that they think that what we're doing is sexism, but when they get offended when we depict women in a sexual way, and they don't get offended when we depict men in a sexual way, shows that their culture and their mentality is that they have ownership over women, and you're basically, it's like their position, their place as a man to say like, you don't get to do this to our women, and these are not even real women, okay? But
Well, we
even with
also
non-real women. Yeah.
It's also a lot of like feminists who have the same criticism that you're sexualizing and objectifying women. And it's like, I don't think showing a sexual woman is inherently a bad thing. It's not inherently objectifying. Like, what the hell?
Yeah. So two things. People say you're sexualizing women, you're objectifying women. Okay. First of all, sexualizing women are sexual. Men and women are sexual. We're not sexualizing them. They are sexual creatures. You trying to take that away from them, you are the sexist, right? When you're saying you're sexualizing women, you're saying that women don't get to be sexual. Women are not sexual. You're trying to steal their sexuality away from them. Okay. We're trying to celebrate women's sexuality. You're trying to deny its existence. Okay. So again, you're being the sexist. Also, I never understood what people mean by objectifying like women. First of all, we do this with men as well. Like, we have art of men as well, with men as well. But also objectifying, you're literally doing the opposite when you're showing someone's sexuality. Okay. When you look at other than objective fills, like, you're humanizing somebody when you're showing them in a sexual way, because you only feel that with humans. You don't feel that with, unless you have issues, you don't feel that with animals or objects. You only feel that with humans. So appreciating other human beings' sexuality is the opposite of objectifying them, is humanizing them, because you feel that with humans, not objects. Like, you're like, do you feel that with a rock? Because I don't. Anyway, so these are basically all the messages that we try to touch on. It gives us an excuse to talk about these things every time. And yeah, we think it's beautiful, and we enjoy it. And if you don't like it, you don't have to look at it, right? So
True.
There's that. Yes.
We're not.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, and also, like, actually, you're right. Bad feminists. Like, let's just be clear with that, because not all feminists. Okay.
True.
We weren't trying to like dismiss all feminists as like, we were talking about some feminists. Okay. There's good way. There's, there are many good feminists.
Yes, we're feminists.
Yeah, we're feminists. Secular Rarity saying great stream. Oh, thank you. Vlad is saying great live stream of what? Of the Zagros? What does that mean? But thank you. That's because they are hypocrites. Yeah, but not all again. Okay, guys, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for spending time with me and Susie. We enjoyed having you here in the live
Yes.
chat while we did like this. Would, by the way, this would not be fun if we were just recording this and releasing it. Like, you guys being in the live chat makes this a lot more fun. So thank you for spending time with me and
True.
Susie while we did the stream. And again, go get our art. Links are all in the description. There's free version, there's paid version. And make sure you like the stream right now. Like this video right now before you go. And Susie, you seem to have something to say.
You have something exciting to plug.
Oh crap! You're right. Why didn't I mention, guys? I'm about to do a stream with Abdullah Samir. Oh my! How did I forget about that? How did I forget about that? Okay, if you're not subscribed to Abdullah Samir's new channel, you can see on the community tab of Atheist Republic, okay, the link to the stream that is coming up with me on the Friendly Ex-Muslim YouTube channel. Again, go to the community. If I couldn't find this on his own channel, so if you want to get a link to this, go to the community tab of this channel, and you will see the upcoming stream in 8 hours. Okay, so go there, and you will be able to find this. Okay, so
And
it's
Suha
going to
just
be
put
me
a
and
link
Abdullah
in the
Samir.
description. Thank you,
Oh,
Suha.
thank you. So it's going to be me and Abdullah Samir, and we're going to be streaming. And yeah, so we're going to be talking about Islam, and it's going to be in a straight, actually look at the title. So this is weird, right? Good things in Islam, question mark. So what do we have to say? Come and check it out. All right.
I already know what Armin's gonna say.
Yeah, you always know what I'm going to say. Okay.
True.
She knows me better than myself. Yeah, and go subscribe to Abdullah Samir's new channel. Okay, it's called A Friendly Ex-Muslim.
Definitely.
All right, guys, see you there. See you guys all in 8 hours. Whoever's coming to that stream. Talk to you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.